everybody. It is not the first Monday of the month, so this must not be the Maw of Mike. Or maybe it is. Actually, this is the first Maw of Mike for February, and it's also the first Maw of Mike for 2024. Why is that? Because, well, last year was really crazy. Last month was really crazy. We started the new year like on a Monday, and everybody was hungover. They couldn't do the show, and then we had an indie, RPG indie summit, which took up an entire week. And then we a big chunk of Goodman Games went to California. And so it was a very full month. And in fact, the reason we're doing this is on the second Monday of February is because on the first Monday of February, I was sitting watching Dragon Slayer at the time when I would normally be doing this show. So we kick things off a little bit, but here we are, first show of the new year. Everybody has had a month to settle in. You have had a chance to make all of those New Year's resolutions and break them. So we're back to the status quo. So everybody's eating everything they said they weren't going to do. Stop going to the gym. So it's time to huddle around the television, huddle around the TV screen, huddle around your computer monitor, your tablet, your phone, and watch Maw of Mike, the show where me, Michael Curtis, the director of product development for Dungeon Crawl Classics here at Goodman Games, brings you all the good stuff about DCC, MCC, XCC, other things ending with CC, maybe like the BCC, I don't know. But anyway, that's a whole different show. So tonight we are going to be looking at what's going on in the world of DCC this month. And there's a lot going on because you might have noticed we have two crowdfunding campaigns currently underway. And it is Zine month over in our good friends over at Kickstarter. So a lot of cool third-party stuff is going on here tonight. So we are going to delve into that. I have a full roster of guests here. We'll talk about things new, things about ongoing, things about coming your way soon. And we're going to do that in just a moment because I'm going to step out for a minute and we're going to put up some funky text. And then when I come back through the magic of Twitch, I will have a guest with me. So stick around and we'll be doing that in just a few moments. Hello, everybody. I am back. Did you miss me? I am back, and with me is my first guest, Josh Yoder. Josh, welcome to the show.
Hello. Thanks for having me.
And you are certainly well dressed and have an appropriate background because we're going to talk about a little something which is you're currently in the works. And in fact, you just launched it, I believe, just last week, correct?
Yep. Just last Friday.
And what is that thing that you are currently launching, and why are you here?
It's H2O Apocalypse. It's a surf punk piracy in a drowned world. So take equal parts Tank Girl, equal parts Water World, add a little bit of Firefly, and then the soundtrack is done by Agent Orange. It is surf punk energy mixed with those old like I always whenever I think of something, I picture like who would like pen it if this was a comic book. And Jamie Hewitt would be just top to do this. So that was always in my mind when writing it. Like, can I give that energy and put that into written form, and make that something people can play? So
okay, and this isn't just like an adventure. There is a lot of fun stuff in here. So
yeah. Yeah, so it's one adventure, and then there's some setting to it, but I didn't want to be too like heavy-handed with it. I took a lot of hints from Lankmar. I was like really taken back by just like there was just like certain small tidbits, and then you could really make the world your own. And then the more you knew about reading Falcon the Great Mouse, or the more you could put into it. But if you didn't need to come into that, you need to read all of those books by Fritz Leiber to really know how to play the game. And that, to me, that kind of took that ethos and like put that towards the game. So, you read a little bit, a sentence here or there, and you really make that world your own world. I want it to be everyone's apocalypse. It's not Josh's apocalypse. It's your apocalypse. You're just having a great time in it. So, yeah, tons of just different tables and different ways to play. Band name generators, punk name generators, club name generators, ship generators, junk weapon generators, and even Hollywood hunk generators. So you can give that like like slab bulkhead or like meat big stick, when talking about your favorite old retro movie.
uh-huh. That sounds cool. I mean, and there's one thing if I know about the DCC fans is they love a good table. So right there, you're already shooting for the target audience. I mean, so this is obviously this this is a question I often ask because you're using the DCC rules
Mhm.
but you're using it as they should be done in a way that was not originally intended. So, I mean, when there was no surf punk, as far as I'm pretty sure, on the Appendix A, and so this is kind of you taking that rule system and then taking your own inspirations and pulling that into that and everything. Now, did you? I ask this all the time. Did you have any? Did you run into any difficulties when you were like, okay, I'm going to use DCC with like warriors and dwarves and mighty deeds and spellburn, and I'm gonna mash it up with surf punk? Or did it, or was it one of those,
No, I was just not really. So what I did was, I read I've read different other people's work, much like Appendix N. I kind of took like, Joya Royale's, Ninja City. I took, Where Shadows Fall. I read, Bronx Beast, and like I wanted to see how other people made zines that were different. And then kind of just like thought, okay, well, yeah, I mean, this is something I can do. Other people have done different things with it. I mean, you know, Surf Punk Pirates is just another thing to add.
all right. So, all right. So I also have this question, since we are dealing with kind of like a modern, well, modern-ish setting, or dystopian, post-apocalyptic stuff. Does this Do you deal with magic? Do you do mutations? Do you kind of lean into that, or is it more more straightforward? More like the art, like Surf Nazis Must Die, the RPG. I mean,
No, I'm glad you mentioned that. Someone actually had just put on my Kickstarter today, I didn't mention Surf Nazis Must Die in the Dragon Peak interview I did. And they're right. And that's because I just kind of just try to keep Nazis just out of anything I do, even if people have seen the movie, and no matter what.
mhm,
It's just smart. But I do love me. I mean, I grew up in Delaware, right across the river from New Jersey. So Troma
right.
was obviously, those films were like a Bible to me growing up. Um, but yeah, I would say the setting itself, as itself, is low magic, but there's a hint in there that Lanians came and basically they shared all of this crystal tech with everyone, and they said, "Hey, don't use this crystal tech for violence." And of course, we all use it for violence. So the Lanians left; they took everything with them, and then what they left behind were these crystals that people started using to make weapons, make guns and stuff, because most modern guns we have, and won't really work while they're wet and without repair and things. So that started to happen. I did put in my book, and like the optional rules, that you can use crystals like scrolls to cast spells, but their effects will leave you with these mutations that can turn you into like a psychic vampire.
Okay. Well, I mean, if there's a chance of psychic vampires, I'm sure that the DCC fans will certainly enjoy it. So, um,
Yeah.
do you have is it more? I mean, you have the initial adventure, and then you have like a bunch of tables for world building, and obviously you're encouraging bring your own influences to it. You're not your, but the theoretical customer who is buying this and wants to run it at their table and everything. So is it more focused on kind of, it's always like a toolbox of fun stuff to play with and everything. Did you introduce any new classes or anything, or
Here's
yeah?
yeah, I'm glad you asked. I not only give you one class, but I give you one class two ways. So you get the Hydropunk class for DCC, and the class has backgrounds, so that you add different backgrounds to it to kind of give it different flares, like different walks of life you're from. But not only do you get that class, but you also get Neon Lords of the Toxic Wastelands class with it.
Mhm.
So this book, and because of all the tables and stuff, only the adventure itself, I would say, really isn't compatible that much with. But like Neon Lords, with like a little bit of chutzpah, it could be compatible, just like you know,
All
in
right.
in minutes.
Well, that's good. That's cool. I mean, it definitely sounds like one of the things I love about DCC is that it is so open to bringing in their own interpretations to it. And I mean, I think a lot of that has to do specifically. It is rulings, not rules. So there is a lot of there's a lot of lot of space to add like edge cases or things we haven't really considered, or take like this one rule and like I'm going to blow this up in completely unexpected ways and everything. So it sounds like you were doing not what Joe Goodman intended necessarily people do, but as William Gibson famously said, the street will find a way. It's like so once the rules are out there, it's like everybody's fun to pull together in it. So obviously this is, everybody's dream is to, to keep things going. So is this, do you have, if, but let me just, how's the fundraising going? Have you hit your initial gun funding yet?
For the first 5 hours, we hit funding, so
There
that
you
was
go. All right. So
that was
do you
pretty
have any,
stellar.
do you have anything in the back of your mind for, to follow this up, or, is it going to be like continuations of zines, or kind of building, kind of like what, Under a Broken Moon did? They did like a lot of short reviews, eventually kind of came into something bigger, or, or is it still too early at this point?
Oh no. So as the funding's going on, to kind of keep myself busy, I've got my blog, crimtonatter.com. I'm just like making H2O go-go, is what I'm calling it. I'm just adding like different tables and things as they come to mind to kind of fit the world. I'm going to compile them all and give them all up for free on my itch, when probably around when we do fulfillment. And it's just going to be like a free zine, something I throw together to kind of go with the book, just to as extra tables, recipes. I'm going to think about throwing like cocktail recipes in there, just weird stuff that just goes along with the setting. After that, I'm already talking about something called Unleash the Bastards, which is just basically just like more classes to go along with the setting. And yeah, I'm just always thinking about it. My wife's actually working on a module called Barge of the Rat Queen, which I'm pretty excited about. So
So, all right, well, cool. People, this is one community who does not mind one and done, because, if there's a tail on something, especially if it's a tale of a rat queen, there's gonna people are like, okay, I want to see where this is going and everything. So yeah, so I think this is, what was there, obviously you said you had your influence on there. Was there something in particular in your youth who was just like, I have to do like a surf punk, post-apocalyptic thing? Is it, you said you do some of the trauma stuff, but obviously it's a much wider wellspring to be drawing from.
yeah, so I mean, obviously, Waterworld is like the biggest influence, but the idea came about where like I had just gotten I just gotten out of the shower, and like I still had like shampoo in my hair, and my wife and I were just kids, like our first apartment, we were like 19. She comes up, next to me, and then she makes my hair into a mohawk, and I just look at her and I go, "Err." She's like, "What are you, a pirate punk?" And then that just kind of that night I couldn't sleep. I just kept thinking about, what is pirate punk? What is this? This sounds cool. And then she had this comic book we had just picked up from a comic book store called The Pirates of Coney Island. And it was an awesome stylistic comic book. And we were trading it and talking about it to each other. And unfortunately, I don't think it ever finished. I think it ended like short. But that got me thinking, like, what would pirates look like in a modern day? And like, what would that like punk rock aesthetic mixed with piracy kind of turn into? And yeah, here we are. And then
Okay.
Rat Queens came about, and then obviously Rat Queens kind of inflicted, put that into that ethos. So yeah, this is made me think this is something I can do.
Do you include like an appendix P? Is it like, like the list of like the inspirational stuff or things to check out?
Yeah, I call it Appendix End.
Okay. All right. Well, all right. So, I think this is something that there is definitely the demographic amongst the MCC and the DCC fans to check this up. Actually, I should have set this up better, but the classic, pirates versus ninjas. So, all right. So, pirates versus punk pirates.
Well, there's surf ninjas in the zine, so there's definitely a lot of that too.
All right, well, this is fodder for pizza party. Let's put the ninjas of Ninja City versus the punk pirates of H2O Apocalypse. We'll see. Maybe that's Gen Con. Maybe that's so. All right, so I think this sounds awesome. I'm sure obviously you can do funded in 5 hours. You've got plans for the future, and I wish you all the luck on this. I think it's going to be it sounds like definitely a cool product, and I'm very question to this. Is there? I know this is compatible also with Neon with Neon Warlords. But is there a funnel?
There's not a funnel.
Okay.
There's not a
That's
funnel.
I'm as somebody who is, some people are still yelling at me for Lankmar, but I totally get that. The only reason I ask is because Everybody wants to know is there the random starting occupation table? Because
You
okay.
do get to pick your instrument.
All right. Well, maybe there's something for the blog then. So, all right. Well, Josh, thank you very much for taking some time out here. I wish you continued luck, but you've already funded and everything. So, oh, do you have stretch goals in mind?
I don't. I don't.
All
I want to
right.
keep it simple.
That's the way to go. More than one cool Kickstarter has been torpedoed by overambitious stretch goals. So we've been dropping the link to the Kickstarter into the chat as we've been going on. So if you have not yet backed H2O Apocalypse and it sounds like something you want to check out, please click on one of those links and go pledge with your wallet. So all right. Thank you very much, Josh. And we will be back in just a few moments with my next guest. So if you're sticking around, watch this, stick around, and keep watching. Hey, everybody. I am back, and I have another guest. And this is another third-party creation that you want to be adding to your DCC library at home. Joining me tonight is Greg Setliff. Greg, welcome to the Maw.
Thanks for having me on the show, Mike. I appreciate it.
And I see you are no stranger to Twitch because you already have product placement set up behind you. So, so what brings you on the Mall of Mike tonight?
Oh my gosh. Well, I'm currently kickstarting my first adventure and my first soiree into this as Stefan Surratt mentioned, the lucrative field of writing adventures. The good one. But I've written an adventure for DCC. It's a first level adventure for 6 to 8 characters, and it's got lots of little bells and whistles. I'm really excited about how it's taken off, and I appreciate all the love I've been getting from the DCC community.
And the name of this venture, if I have it right, is the Elixir of Cosmodes.
Cosmodes, yeah, there it
Cosmodes,
is. So
yes.
there it is with all the. This is my proof copy. It's not the final one, but it's coming together.
So, what is the general plot of the Elixir of Cosmodes for those of
So
you?
it's a city-based adventure, fantasy, but it is inspired by Jack Finney's Invasion of the Body Snatchers, and so it has a bit of a weird twist to it, but as a city adventure, it's designed to pop into any judge's campaign setting. It can go into any city. It could be Punjar, it can be Lankmar, it can be many things with it. And so one of the ideas is that the players are transitioning. It's a first level adventure, so they're transitioning from maybe a 0 level funnel where they've got some loot or some weird chaos baubles to sell, and they swing by a city on their way to their next big adventure, and then they get lost, and shenanigans ensue, and then they end up in a remote little mercantile square called Throckmorton Square, where everyone's not quite up and up, on the up and up, and so they begin to get to the bottom of that and have a good time.
Okay, so
Good times are had, at least by the judge.
okay. So it sounds, I mean, that sounds like a heck of a setup. I mean, you get faced, especially, you're a stranger in town and you find yourself in the middle of town and, well, maybe the whole town is turned into pod people. And then, am I getting out of here with my psyche intact? So, all right. So
There you go. Yep.
this is some interesting inspiration. I mean, and you specifically said the novel, right? You said
Yeah, so I happen to have my little beat up copy right here. So this is my novel, and then and from this, I came at it from the films. So the 1978 version is the piece of art for me. I love that
right.
movie, and scared the socks off of me as a kid.
Yeah.
And so I worked backwards from there. And I guess if I'm being honest, I guess when I got into Goodman Games and found out about Appendix N, I was sort of, working all the way back. I sort of said, man, that's cool. I want to write an adventure that's based on, some cool literature that sort of inspired, the greats. And this was one that kind of inspired me, and I wanted to keep going with that and share it.
I mean, I'm familiar with the original black and white, and I've seen, of course, the '70s version of it. I didn't see the one with Nicole Kidman, but I've never read the book. Is the book different at all from the filmed adaptations, or is
Yeah, it
it
is. It's set in a different place for one thing, and so Throckmorton Square is a direct lift from Throckmorton Street, where the protagonist's office is, and there's a lot of references like that. But it follows the 1956 film pretty close,
okay?
with the happy ending and the optimism, and that's not what I got when I got it. In the '80s, I got the not so happy ending.
Right. You got you
Yeah.
got you got Leonard Nimoy and
Donald Sutherland and Jeff Goldblum, a lot of great people.
right. No. So that's an interesting mix. I mean, like kind of. I mean, obviously you're a fan of the source material, and was it just like this just feels right for it? I mean, because I mean it's interesting also that you chose like a big city because I mean I know the original is kind of a small town and
Right.
it's not like the '70s version. That's when they move it to San Francisco. I think it's like a bigger thing.
Yeah.
Was it choosing to move it to like because you could run it like theoretically, the zero level characters could come back from their funnel, and grandma's not acting right or anything. But did you choose to move it to like a larger setting just because A, you have more options, and B, it's more terrifying if you have that many people around you who might be pod people.
Yeah, I definitely like the idea that the players drop into this thing and they already don't know what's going on, and then sort of the enormity of it sort of just starts to grow around them as they find out that the guards in on it, and the barons in on it. It just grows from there. So that was I liked being in the middle, and then the suspense sort of grows out from there. But really what did it for me, this adventure began as a puzzle, and I had when DCC 100 was in Kickstarter. That's when I was sort of finally digging up my free RPG Day copies and looking through the rules again and going, what the heck is this thing? And I'm like, oh man, I'm in. That I was in like sin after that. It was just and then I ran Courts of Chaos for Road Crew because I jumped in with both feet. Of course, I went right into Road Crew and ran Courts of Chaos. And here's these two great physical puzzles. And I'm like, I want to do the literature thing, and I want to have a puzzle. I want to have a puzzle, and I want to have something that you can do. So the thing that is near and dear to my heart in this adventure is that there is a physical puzzle that it is really centered around. And I'm struggling with how much I should give away here, but
It's always the tough part, right?
so go ahead and plug your ears if you're going to plan on playing this. But it's based around the whole the pH indicator sort of thing. So you have a red cabbage juice, and red cabbage has anthocyanins in it. Not to get too sciencey, but they change color based on concentrations of hydrogen ions or pH. And so you mix in a little bit of substance A with vinegar in it, and it'll turn bam bright red, and mix in another one with bleach in it, and bam, it goes clear yellow, and mix in another substance and it goes blue. And so what I did was what I really enjoy doing with this game is I have a setup where you have to unlock a door in an alchemist's laboratory and to progress in the story. And so I have you got to go around and gather all the stuff. But then once you get there, your players are up there at the table saying, well, we'll do this and we'll do this, and they're figuring it out with all the little bells and whistles, and the player handouts have clues. And when they're sitting there and they're all excited, they're saying, all right, here's what we're gonna do. I reach under the table and I pull out a big old jug of juice, and I'm like, here, go do it. And I just slap it on the table, and their jaws just drop. And while it's science, I'm gonna borrow a line from the Dying Earth here. The science and magic it kind of mixed, because at the table it feels like magic when it just changes color right there at the table. They just love it. Yeah, it's great, and I love it.
That sounds absolutely amazing. And that's the puzzle. That's the puzzle to get through. To solve, like, to basically to advance a part of it, because
Right, and
you're
yeah,
going.
sort of depending on which elixir you make, you have different roads that different outcomes.
Okay, because I was picturing now, no, I was picturing like this was the perfect way to like basically to do the John Carpenter's thing, like to determine who is like a pod person, like because you can set that up, you have
The
like
alchemist test, yeah.
that could be an awesome
All right, that's I'll get that into the next one.
that's yours free. Like if you do the column, I mean, so I mean you can do that like okay,
Yeah,
so
so I mean the city and the story were kind of, like everybody who dreams of writing stories, you have a little notebook or something or a note app on your phone is chock full of them. And these were two sort of ideas that grew together into each other. And the city sort of gave the raw materials I needed to make that puzzle happen.
mhm. And I take it you give directions, basically instructions on how to pull this off. So,
Yeah, it unfolds, and I mean that's up to the players to roll well enough to get all of them, but you can get some of them, and you can get, there are
okay.
ways through. There are multiple ways through, and trial
Okay.
and error, unfortunately, is one of them.
No, I meant to the judge to set this up, because not every judge may know PH, so they might not know how
Oh
to
yeah,
set
yeah,
up.
yeah. No, there's in the appendix, there's a recipe for making the ingredients, and
There you
then
go.
there's all kinds of cool stuff. Yeah, so you just make it. And what I love is I've rolled into PAX Unplugged, and I've gone into Mepicon, my local con here, and just I have a backpack full of little Nalgene bottles, and you just slap a glass on the table, and you pop them out, and you've got this. And like one of the ingredients is a Sprite. You can just go get the can out of the thing and just pop it right there. So anytime somebody gets a little, smart alecky on me and says, "Well, I want to try something else," and I say, "Go for it. Go mix in your soda, whatever. I want to see what orange soda does because you can keep playing with it till you get the right colors, and until you get to the right colors, you can't progress
That's
or you blow."
that's awesome. I would if you're going to run this at a convention like out of state, and you have to fly somewhere. I would suggest, but this might not be the one. You don't want to
Oh
try
yeah,
to get on a board a plane with a gallon of apple cider or red cabbage juice or something.
yeah.
The TSA might have some words with you, but
You know what? You know what? You can make it in a microwave in the hotel. It just stinks a little bit.
yeah, there you go. And if that and if that doesn't sum up game design, I don't know what does. You can make it in the hotel, it just stinks a bit. That's all.
Yeah, right.
So, so this is kind of your first foray into professional or at least semi-professional.
Semi-professional, yeah, exactly. I mean, I, I will say that yeah, this thing sat on my laptop for a really long time, and I got in like pretty much everybody. I'm sure I watched, I listened to Spellburn, I watched Scrivenery, and got Joey shouting at me every month to say stat it up, and and so eventually I was like, all right, I'm gonna start statting something up, and I did, and then I wasn't I it wasn't good, and I needed to clean it up, and I ended up just you guys, the community puts out so many great resources for guys like me that makes it just it makes it feel like it's doable. And then I submitted a monster to the Dungeon Denizens, and I was one of the lucky few to get into that. And so I've got the tongue eating Cymothua was my creature, and that one's near and dear to my heart.
Right.
Yeah, so that sort of gave me the confidence to go ahead and push it forward.
All right. Well, so I have to ask: has the adventure funded?
I'm funded, and I've just as of Super Bowl last night, we hit the second stretch goal, which is great because both of those are added art, and I have art to show, and then I've got updates coming out, and the Mike Tripoli and Beth Zarzasti are two of my artists. My son Alex is actually another one, and so both of my commissioned artists are putting together new pieces that are going in, and so I'm really excited about this next one because Mike Tripp, he made the cover, and now he's going to make the splash page for the title page, and it's really going to tie it's like the rug that brings the room together.
All right. All right. Do you have obviously this is funded, you go through the process of it, you get it out there and everything. Is there something cooking in the back of the mind for maybe another one or follow
Oh
up?
my gosh. Oh yes, please. Yeah, I've got one that's in the wings. I'm calling the Cursed Valley of Bryn and Keen. And so that one's going to be coming out, and I'll spoil a little bit of it. It's going to be hopefully later this year, to coincide with the emergence of the cicadas, because that'll be the.
I know this is the year that the two batches overlap, right? This is
Yes.
like cicada apocalypse, right?
So that, yeah, so I'm bug professor, so that's what I do.
This is you have there has to be something that involves like the husks, like after they shed, after they molt
Oh,
and everything like that. It's a
the
miniature war
ingredient.
game.
Yeah, sure.
So,
Already in there, Mike.
all right, that sounds awesome. So, all right, I mean, that's what I always say is that bring what you love to the game and bring what you know, and you never go wrong. So, there you go.
Yeah.
All right, Greg. Well, thank you very much for taking the time, and best of luck, and stay busy during cicada season. I mean,
Thanks so much. Thanks a
gotta
lot.
get some sleep, right? All right, so we're about halfway through the show, so I'm going to take a quick step and drag somebody out. A certain masked stranger is currently putting down some cardboard, and he's starting to do some backspin. So it's time to bring him on in just a moment. So stick around. Hey everybody, I am back with my next guest who needs no introduction, but we'll give one anyway. Mr. Joey Royale coming here. He is ready to break it down for you because we are here to talk about the next thing, which is coming out through Get Haunted Industries. And Joey, welcome back to the show. Always a pleasure to hang out with you.
Cousin Mikey, how you doing? Good to see you, buddy.
I
Good to
am
see you.
doing
Thank
good,
you for
man.
having me on the show.
Thank you for coming. My ratings always shoot up whenever you come on, so can't say no to you. So I understand word on the street is that you've got something planned, which is coming soon, and that is a follow up to something which you already know for. So, break it down for us. Give me a beat. Talk about
Straight out of the cul-de-sac. Get Haunted Industries presents Ninja. I can't even say it with a straight face. Ninja City Drug Demon Disco.
So
I'm excited.
that is perfect. So, all right. So, for those people at home who
Yeah.
may not grasp the concept of a Ninja City, and
Yeah.
this is a sequel to it, we don't want them to bust into this like break into Electric Boogaloo without knowing all the questions of the original break-in. So we've got to go. So,
Absolutely.
what
Yes.
is Ninja City, and then we can go on what the drug disco is. The drug demon disco.
Ninja City is a fantastical experience of the ninja lifestyle in the 80s. Now, so what I did is, you know how I love DCC. I got it tattooed on my eyelids. I wanted to take DCC and reskin it so I could relive the pleasure of being a young ninja running around the neighborhood starting trouble. But I wanted to add a little bit of danger to it. So I took a little bit of the Bronx. I took a little bit of Queens. I took a little bit of Brooklyn, a little bit of Shaolin, all right, and a little Manhattan. Smash it all together. Boom, you're a ninja. You and your pals are ninjas. You work for the sensei, and you go around fighting all the bad guys. That's bad guys with a Z, all right? Copyright that. And that's it. It's a hot summer. It's always hot summer in Ninja City. And you're a ninja out there using your fists, your feet, and your magic powers, making sure that everybody can get to school on time in Ninja City.
All right. Well, that's the baseline for Ninja City.
That's the original.
Now we're going to go into the seedy underworld. We're going to go into the nightclubs. We're going to go into what's happening. So break it down.
We're getting greasy, baby, in Drug Demon Disco. So here's the story, Michael. Not a lot of people know about this, but I don't know how this happened. People didn't check the zoning. They didn't check all the land ownership rights. But here's what happened. They built a disco on top of an evil spirit's tomb, all right? The phylactery was placed on top of a table, right? They built the disco above it, and the booming bass shook the phylactery right off the table, smashed on the floor. Boom! Evil spirit comes out, and all heck break loose. in Ninja City. See, what the demon did is he put a little drop of his blood into a new drug that's on the street called pump juice. And as soon as you take that pump juice, you get jacked, but you get jacked and you can't control yourself. And you start hurting people, all in the name of that evil spirit that cracked out of that phylactery. Now it's up to you and your pals to down the hoods once again and save the streets of Ninja City in Drug Demon Disco.
You know, I hate when that happens.
I tell you, it's a
Growing
tough
up in
job
the
to clean
greater
up.
the greater metropolitan New York area, you know, if I had a nickel for every
know.
time, you know, a phylactery shattered, and you know, me and my boys, you know. So,
Now, this is the cool thing, and you heard it here first, Michael Curtis. All right, I'm gonna let everybody on a secret. I dropped a hint in the update today on the Kickstarter, but here's the deal: this has its own soundtrack. There are 23 selections that the judge can roll on, featuring some of the greatest underground and above ground breakdancing hits of the early 80s. All right. Now,
God.
there's only 23 selections because if you roll a 24, judge's choice, and they get to decide what that track is going to be. Now, the reason why that's important is because it's an in-game feature. There is a breakdance battle that happens during the crescendo of the adventure, okay? And if you get up and bust moves, you get bonuses to your rolls, boy. So that's why Alfonso Ribeiro was just down here while I was waiting to come on, teaching me some new moves so we can get down and really get stuff going down in Ninja City Drug Demon Disco.
Man, let me tell you, I was at Gary Con last year at the DCC Cultural Exchange. There was some serious breakdancing going on. So, you know, I mean, I think this is definitely, we were doing the worm, we were doing the backspin with it.
Yeah.
I think we took out some things trying to do the windmill. So I think this is definitely this you tapped into an unforeseen market here. So
There's going to be a lot of people limping around the ziggurat come Gen
there
Con.
certainly are. That's it.
Yeah.
This is gonna be you know, I mean, if only I would have a guest on soon who knows a little things about breaking bones. Maybe then he would be able to provide some useful advice to this, you know. So do you have, all right. So now the
Yeah.
question is on everybody's mind: is there game mechanic rules for breakdancing?
Well,
Or
let's
it's
see.
more
Well,
free form?
no, it's free, like literally free form LARP. There's LARP, man. You got to actually get up and move. So not rule, because man, I'm not going to put any rules on how you express yourself via choreography. All right, let that be up to the individual. But if you're willing to get up there and stand up and bust a move, you can get a +1 or +2 to your next roll.
I mean, I'm full for freeform and everything, you know, but I know there are people right now, they've heard this and they're sitting right now, they're furiously scratching out on a piece of paper, on the back of a business card, on a napkin, you know, and they are trying to right now, they're coming up with breakdancing mighty deeds. So I know, you know, so,
I put an instructional video up in the update section of the Kickstarter today. No joke. So if you want to learn some basics, there'll be more coming out as well.
is that you performing?
No. My manager, like, I'm in the middle of the Kickstarter and I don't want to hurt myself. I don't want to roll an ankle. So my manager said, Joey, no dancing for right now. You got to wait till the Kickstarter is over.
I get it. You know, it's like when Jackie Chan, when he made the move from, you know, from Hong Kong theater into Hollywood wouldn't let him do his little stunts anymore.
Yeah, I know.
Insurance guys were, you know, I mean, so I totally get it. You know.
Yeah, it's a hard life for people like us, Michael. Yeah.
But you mean old and fragile?
Yeah.
who can only break dance again, you know, in the imagination. So
exactly.
All right. So now one of the questions I ask all my guests, you know, they have the other project. I ask the inspirations. Now, obviously, there is, you know, you have established where your inspirations come from, but you know, was there anything, you know, out of clearly, are we talking breaking? Are we taking, are we talking
Yeah.
Beach Street? Are we-
Yeah, definitely. Beat Street, Wild Style, Electric Boogaloo 2, Breaking 2, Electric Boogaloo, that kind of stuff. But the big inspiration comes from Gen Con. Gen Con is the real big inspiration for this. Last minute, my man Maxwell Patton's like, you got to run Ninja City tonight. And I hadn't run Ninja City in a while. Long story short, I'm stepping outside, booba de pep. The heat was broken. I couldn't eat there, right? So me, I'm sorry, I'm not speaking correctly. Tim Deschênes, Brendan LaSalle, and James Ponzanel and I went to go get a slice instead. And I said, guys, I got to run a game. And I got like the 3 horsemen of awesomeness right there. I said, we got to come. You got to help me out. You got to help me. I need something different than what I always run. Boom. I flip over the placemat at the pizza place. And they all start shooting one thing. Brendan's like, oh, there's these super drug. It's a super drug. James is like, he was thirsty. He's like, there's got to be something with water. And then Timmy D has got the Oni mask on his arm. And I'm like, it just all came together. We were spitballing. I show up. Tiger Wiz is there from Epic Levels. He's the one jumping up, kicking and punching. And then Diogo got mad at me. He starts telling me how to run my game. He's like, you got to use the D20. Don't use a D20. Use a D24. Boom, pow. That's how the disciples of the 24th chamber happen. All right? It's about friendship from Gen Con. It's about embracing the funky dice. And it's about just getting weird at the table with your friends, having fun, turning it up a notch, So that was the big inspiration there.
And not only is that the inspiration for Great Ninja, that deep down inside, that's what it truly means to be a ninja in Ninja City.
Friendship. Ninja is friendship. That's really the core of this lava cake.
That gets overlooked a lot in the Shokasugi movies, but really,
it is.
It's all
they
about
forgot the friendship. That's why you don't see him anymore. Yeah. 5 Deadly Venoms, two movies that were new to me that during the writing process that were also inspiration were the 5 Deadly Venoms, not a ninja movie, but a karate movie. And I incorporated different styles. So you're going to get some new moves. There's some new rules. There's some new spells. There's new forces that the ninjas can use. And then the Neon Lord turned me on to the craziest movie I've ever seen, Boxer's Omen. And there's some freaky stuff in that too. So if you don't want to go to sleep tonight and you want to, scream in fear right before you fall asleep, Boxer's Omen is a great one.
Okay. All right. Serious question. Which is your favorite Deadly Venom?
Oh, well, I got to go with, man, this is, why'd you put me on the spot like this? Well, I have to go because I was inspired by the Wu. Toad style is immensely strong. Oh, yeah. So got to do that one. But I mean, they're all pretty good during that movie, man. Woo! They turn it up. I love it.
I'm a big fan of the lizard man. You could
up
the walls and
Yep, absolutely. The climbing the wall. So you'll see there's masks in this. I took that and they've become masks that you can wear to channel those powers.
Well, there you go. I mean, this is the most prop-oriented episode of Mawsome Mike we've ever had right here. We've got masks, we've got people doing pH tests on cabbage juice. This is
It's like you just made the most wonderful sandwich. It's like sardines, relish, and like peanut butter. All these zines put together. It's a perfect Saturday afternoon dish.
This really is. I mean, this is. I'm already imagining the post-apocalyptic Ninja City, which is getting invaded by the pod people, and it's up to the ninjas and the pirate punks to band together, and there we go.
There we go. We got Zinequest for next year, guys. We're all set.
This is better than the Battle of the Network Stars, is what I'm saying. Bringing everybody together, all in the name of friendship.
Awesome. Yep.
So. All right. Well, I mean, always, man, you are a fond of creatures. Now, I hear word on the street is that this might tie into Fairhaven somewhat.
Yeah. So Tim Deschênes, Sensei Tim. All right. So in WHPA on the show list, there's a show called Sensei Tim's Dojo of Pain, and that's a tribute to one of my best friends, Tim Deschênes. So he wrote this narrative piece that carries on the story of it's going to carry into the next Ninja City. There's a rogue ninja from a from a rival dojo. And Tim tells that story through the eyes of Sensei Tim from WHPA. So there's all sorts of lore, man. We're crossing Fairhaven and Ninja City, and it's going to get nasty.
That's awesome. That's all right, man. I cannot wait to dip my toes back in Ninja City and to try my own taking on the drug demon disco. That's
I've always wanted to hear you say that phrase, Michael Curtis.
My mom did too.
Yeah.
You're not alone. That's it. All right. Well, Joey, thank you very much for coming on. And
thanks, Michael.
As always, it's always a pleasure. So we're going to step aside, and I'm going to bring back my last guest and talk. As I said, we talked about a lot of PPs. We talked a lot of third-party publishing, but there's some more. There's some more PP we got to talk about before the show's over. That's what I'm saying. All right. So stick around. I will be back in just a moment with my final guest. All right. So thanks, you folks. Hey everybody, I am back for our final segment here on the Ball of Mike, and joining with me is somebody whose face you've probably seen with me before, Mr. Harley Stroh. Harley.
Hey Mike, how's it going?
It's going good. I totally understand, but we were so looking forward to seeing you out in California, and everything kind of got screwed up on your end, and you weren't able to make it out there. So we were able to see you via this method, but everybody's looking forward to seeing you. So but so again, here we are in front of Zoom, and we are here to talk about probably the things that we've talked about the most this year and last year, and that is the Purple Planet.
Can we just like literally pause though and say how absolutely amazing those last 3 projects were? Like I'm weepy. I'm like literally teary, like wiping my each one after the other is just an amazing expression of that individual. And oh my god, this is amazing. This is so absolutely awesome. From like Jamie Hewitt surf punks to we're gonna be testing pH at the table to like we're throwing shurikens against the wall, breakdancing, and this is all I don't know. I know you feel the same way, Mike, but we are so blessed to be a part of this thing that is Goodman Games that can make all this possible.
I completely agree, and it's even more telling for you and I who have been around since the beginning. We were there before the very first before the DCC rulebook came out, and I'm not kidding when I was quoting William Gibson. It was because Joe put out this thing, and he was just like, oh, we'll do this appendix and then it just blew up.
And then the street does its own. Like none of our ideas were this cool. I'm just this is amazing. Oh.
And and this has kind of become the default, because people who are just discovering it, they walk into this and there's all of this stuff going on where, when it was originally, it was just, hey, it's Appendix N, it's Conan,
right. Yeah, no. And it's what do you Mike Curtis, what do you want your legacy to be? You want to pass the mic to somebody else, and and may they stand upon our shoulders. Well, they're way above our shoulders. These things are absolutely phenomenal. It's so humbling to see all these projects come out. It's just stunning.
It is. But
okay.
We are no slouches here at Goodman Games when it comes to interesting concepts. An entire different world of adventure.
Does it have bugs? Does it have pH? Does it have breakdancing? No, Purple Planet sucks, man.
It's not too late to change those stretch goals. Is basically what I'm saying. It's no. Yeah. So obviously we can't have a show tonight without talking about the adventures on the Purple Planet and Beyond, which is the massive BackerKit crowdfunding thing which is currently going on. We launched it less than a week ago. Literally, we launched it at 9 o'clock California time.
4 days or something, right? It was early.
It was Tuesday. It was Tuesday morning we did that. So it was on, and I checked before I logged on, and at that point we were looking at $233,000 that had gone. And to put that in perspective, the original Purple Planet, Barrel of the Purple Planet Kickstarter was 60,000.
Yeah. Well, that's how much DCC has grown since then, right? Like, yeah.
Literally, we're almost 4 times what the original. I mean, obviously, there's more stuff on this one. I mean, there's the other Tomes of Adventure and everything. But yeah, I mean, we blew through. I think 3 stretch goals before we had even published our first update.
Right. Like nobody knew what the stretch goals were. Like there's like we were like you were like posting updates and announcing them after the fact. Yeah. But I think there's like what 1,300 people that have pledged, almost 1,400. It's such a really just an honor and a privilege that people would be they're excited about. They're placing their faith in us to make this adventure possible, and with each new backer that comes, it just gets incrementally cooler.
Yeah, I mean, this is again, we've had 10 years of learning, since
Right.
this was 2014. This came out, was the original one, so we're 10 years down the road, and obviously we got to step up our game because, as you just saw,
Right?
we have a bunch of creative people in the community.
Oh, so cool, so absolutely wonderful. It makes me just happy, like literally weepy. Well, here, so Mike, do you want to run down the stretch goals that we have clear? I mean, I don't know what we have for time, but like
yeah, I mean, if I don't have it in front of me, but first what we had if you backed in the first 48 hours, we have a new relic that is going to be available for that, and that is the Throne of
Stars.
Throne of Stars. So yeah, so that's an awesome new relic to be dropping in there.
Yeah.
Do you want to hint that at all, or you want?
Yes, I'm so excited about it, Mike. So like, all right, so for the entire like history of the Purple Planet, meaning the publication history, we've never known what the various houses are like vying for, and now it's like, okay, well, like if you can achieve the Throne of Stars, if you can seat upon the throne, if you can sit upon atop the ancestral peaks, the wind whipping down your face, you're getting like burned by ice and snow, like they're all striving to achieve this Throne of Stars, which is the goal of all these ascended masters. So we're gonna, for the folks that were generous enough to pledge in the first 40 hours, we're gonna give this artifact, this relic, that really holds true to like what maybe you and I think back to the AD&D DMG, with like the artifact tables, and there's like blah, 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 these 15 27 results that are possible. So yeah, so the Throne of Stars, what all the houses are vying for, we're going to give those to our early backers.
All right. This is you ever play the board game Talisman back in the day?
I haven't. I'm a D&D nerd. I need to play. Is Talisman cool? Have I stolen something that I didn't even know about?
Very Games Workshop. So it had very much had that British vibe. But the entire thing is, the entire game was you were trying to get to the Crown of Command, which was in the center of it. You had to go through like 3 realms in order to get over. Everybody was vying for that, backstabbing, getting turned into a frog and stuff. So the throne is like the Crown of Command. Like, once you get it, you put it on, and you surrender. No, and then you have to make a roll. Yeah. So
right.
That's what came to my mind when you talked about the Throne of Stars. Very much the thing everybody's vying for. So yeah, so we have that. We have another relic, which would be another relic on there. Which we have got the
we have like a new monster, right?
New monster. We got something is hanging around the Lake of Death.
Oh my God, the Emery is so cool. He's like my favorite new friend. I love that guy. So yeah.
And then we have a new Ascended Master, I believe.
Yes, sir. Yep.
And we have a player's map, which is going to be awesome. We
have the players map. Wait, but we also have that new spell.
The new spell, right.
Players map. Now we're working towards the judge's like screen map, right? Is that
true? So the idea is that since this is all hex crawl, we have a big 11 by 17 map you can put down on the table in front of you and kind of track where you've been and everything. And of course, that's a blank map because the players they can see like the ancestor peak, so obviously they know where that is and everything.
Right.
But, everything else is kind of full in. But the judge, they have their Purple Planet judges screen, which has their Purple Planet, related tables and stuff, and their fold out. Oh, you see this mushroom? Do you like to eat it?
Yes.
But the judges screen will actually have the plateau map on the inside, and it will be all kind of annotated and noted, so you can say like, this I know what happens when they go there, but the players will not. So
And this is in addition, like the pledge levels already include like a judge's screen. Is that true? Like the thick.
it is available as an add-on. So yes, you
Oh,
can.
okay, okay, cool. All right, okay, thank you, thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
it's because the original box set it had the flimsy cardboard one, and this is the thick cardboard one to
Right.
to repel the kith with, and
Right.
you can't booger glue that into a book. It just doesn't work. So you had to make it an add-on. So, but yeah,
Okay, that makes sense. So, but you really could between these two screens like have a little fortress of solitude.
this is
Yeah.
the closest we're getting to the Mike Curtis crazy album cover judges screen. I think so.
I don't know, man. I'm holding out hope. Like let's do this thing. Let's combine like Voltron. Let's make the two screens like a 6-panel monolith.
Well, I
Who
mean,
knows?
we got 3 weeks left, and and we are 17,000 about $17,000 short of the judges screen with the map on the inside.
Sure. All right.
I have a feeling we're going to hit that. So maybe the jumbo, the the really big. You have a screen to put on your other screen. So,
Do you have your faux like record cover screen handy? Could you describe that to us? Because this is actually really cool. This is like a Michael Curtis original. He's been coming up with this idea. Purple Planet.
Well, I do. It's not necessarily a cover because it is a cover of Yes songs.
Right, but this is just so cool. Like
It's got the awesome,
yeah, I do that thing. Oh man, we got to turn off. Like, okay, I'm gonna buy you a green screen at some point.
So
but
it's
that's
got,
so cool.
So I've used that at convention tables because
One day.
that teeny tiny table, and I want to make sure I have room to put my stuff. So
It may not be Purple Planet. It may be maybe Surf Punks of Ninja City versus Bug Invasion. Maybe that will be the Kickstarter that makes that screen possible.
it could be. Jacob cannot get enough screens, so dude, yo dog,
Just-
we're collect screens.
All right. Yeah, but real talk. But it's funny because like none of us use screens, but we all love them. It's like we're all standing up, we're all walking around, throwing dice at people, like, and yet
I love Brendan collects like GM screens, and he often uses like the GM screen for a game that he's not actually running. Like he's running X Crawl with like a top secret, top secret.
Oh, that's funny. Like, how many screens does he bring to a con? Like, oh, TSR presents Dallas screen. Do they have a screen? Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
All right. Sorry, Mike. Okay, we're completely off topic. What else?
That's okay. That's Mawsome Mike here.
Okay. All right. Well, okay. So we've had a ton of people have backed us. They're so incredibly generous. It's really awesome to be a part of this.
Yeah, obviously we had high hopes, but the fans have not let us down. So
oh yes, and what are we doing right now? We're not randomly, we're like generating via consensus, via vote, well, not consensus vote, but an ascended master to lead the horde of kith that are the backers, right? Like, so we've written all of our campaign backers now into the campaign, and they're actively like, they're at a moot, like choosing their warlord that's going to lead them on to victory and or defeat or death.
Right. And right now, Blood Witch and Mummified Kith, right now, they're kind of like neck and neck, so and then of course being true DCC fans are like, well, what if it's a Mummified Kith Blood Witch?
Right. I know. They're like who is somebody's calling for like all 6. Like, we want to do all 6, which is so Goodman. But anyways, but the backers are voting for that. That's our first poll, right? They're back there.
So if you are backing and you have access to you can log in and vote on that. And of course, we have the leaderboard. So the more active you are in discussion groups, and you move up the leaderboard. And when all is said and done, we will take names from the leaderboard and we will make anagrams of it, and we will introduce you as characters into.
Yeah, we have to populate the Purple Planet with anagrams of.
Which is fun because we did that in the first one, and I was going back and looking from that. It's like, oh, Rick Hull.
I'm not super clever, Mike. You know this after all these years. Like, Rick, like, who could that possibly be?
That's okay. I mean, half the fun is being able to recognize it and say like, oh, okay, I know who that is, or I have the penny drop later, like, oh, wait a minute, so
yeah. But how awesome is it that in somebody's some kid's game. Somebody's 12 right now, he's playing that 0 level funnel for the Purple Planet, and the pits of Rick Ool, like, and that lives on outside of us, and it goes on, and it feeds somebody else's imagination. Like, what a privilege and an honor that we get to participate in this.
Yeah, well, I mean, it beats going back and working in the warehouse,
I don't know. Some days I don't agree with you, but that's okay.
All right. Well, so yeah, so that's just we wanted to give you an update of where things are standing. I know Elena has dropped the link in there. So if you've somehow gotten this far without hearing about the Purple Planet, get eventually the Purple. Oh, we don't even mention the fact that there are also 7 other third-party publishers, all of them who have funded. So that they are also on part of the Purple Planet Horde. This is the most ambitious thing we have done. BackerKit allowed us to do that, so we said we're going to bring everybody together in on this. So
7 other war bands coming to our banner to press on across the wastes, and it's so awesome.
It is going to be awesome. This is awesome product. So Harley, thank you for joining me to spend some time. We will actually on Friday we will be having an art Purple Planet art reveal show as well. So we'll have Doug Kovacs will be on that. Matt Hildebrandt. We're going to get a first look at some of the new art that are being created for this. So if you're not doing anything Friday at 7 p.m. Eastern, I believe, you can come and check it out and hear us talk more about the Purple Planet, and actually have stuff to show you that time. But all right. But before we go, I've got a couple of updates for you at home. So Harley, if you bear with me for just 2 minutes as I give everybody the rundown. For those of you may have noticed that I mentioned that there are 2 crowdfunding projects going on, and that is true. Purple Planet's getting all the love, but also right now the DCC Roll20 BackerKit campaign is going on. This is the campaign to have the company Metamorphic basically take the DCC rulebook and like the first 6 adventures and transfer them over to Roll20. As of this, we are about $250 away from funding. So we're about 8. If about 8 people get on the lowest one, which I think is like $32, we will have funded, and we officially kick in the door on Roll20, and we busted in there, and this could lean to more and interesting stuff. So if you're a Roll20 person and have not backed, or somebody who is, you may want to mention that to them. So awesome. We're looking forward to good things for that. Dark Tower. Remember Dark Tower? Dark Tower, that awesome classic adventure, which we converted to our original adventures reincarnated. The ships are in. To quote the Ramones, ships are docking, planes are landing, a never-ending supply of Dark Tower coming your way. So that is, we hope to, we still have fulfillment started by the end of February. This Wednesday, however, it's the final day. We're locking down the addresses and the add-ons and everything. So if you have backed it and you've not, jumped on the pledge manager, do that soon. Do that before Wednesday, because once it's in, then there's paperwork and you got to email people, and we don't want to do that to customer service. So. We've got some new releases in the store this month. Last week, Chateau. I'm terrible at French. I took 2 years of French high school. They said they kicked me out. So Chateau of Stolen Memories, which is a level 3 adventure by Gaming Honors, I believe. That was out last week. You can get that in the game store now, along with Hell Train, which is a level 1 adventure for Weird Frontiers. So if you're a Weird Frontiers fan looking for a little Hell Train action, you can get that in the store. You can also get the Hillwood character creation guide, and that's by Nick Barron, and that is creating characters for his homebrewed third-party campaign world. And there's also Wormwood, which is DCC Dark Ages. So if you're a fan of kind of like migration era, Saxons and Vikings beating on each other, this is the kind of thing to check out. This week will be we got more weird dice trays from Weird Worm. So if you've been looking to get yourself one of the dice trays, you can put down and identify what's going on. What's a 50-30, what's a D14. We'll have a bunch of those in stock this week. And then next week, Prisoners of the Secret Overlord, which is a level 2 DCC adventure, and that will also be in the shop. We might squeeze a few more things in before the end of the year, but end of the month, but to be determined. So. All right. Well, that's it. We've had a full show. We had an awesome show. Thank you for all my guests to show up. Thank you for everybody who is back, not only the Goodman Game stuff, but all the third-party stuff. Those of you who are putting stuff out. Obviously, we only have an hour. I couldn't get everybody who's doing the Zinequest on, but if you go to Kickstarter and just type in Dungeon Crawl Classics, you'll get a bunch of hits of really cool stuff. Most of which is either already funded or will be launching soon. So bookmark them, click follow that, alert me when it's doing, and make your GCC library glow. So that's it. That's it for the month. We will be back in March. And until then, stay awesome.